It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I had showed off my session on my head and chest with Rick. So this stuff is basically all healed now. Like, I don't know if it even shed. I don't really recall seeing any shedding, but there's no pain to the touch, and it's, you know, fully healed from what I can see. Sometimes when you're just getting like small touch-ups and stuff, I don't find you shed really at all. Sometimes it's like if you did, it was so light you didn't even notice it. With that said, I had another session before that where I had some light scabbing over here, and I mentioned that it would most likely be gone by next time I talk to you guys. That's the case. You can see over the last few days most of it's gone, and again you can see that it will need some touch-ups here, but that was expected, and I already have the second pass scheduled, so that'll be a light, probably half-hour, 45-minute session, because as I always mention, second passes go really quick, and you can see the difference between the left and right side is less than it was. Again, fairly quickly after the session, it goes from that brighter, more striking red to the darker, duller kind of red. Again, it uses a background element. I don't want it to overstate itself. I don't really want it to be the foremost important part of the tattoo. It's there as a background for the other work. With that said, we tried some new reds on black today, which is always exciting. We tried pomegranate and really red fusion. I believe there's some pomegranate in my chest piece, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'll just go ahead and show it off. I don't actually know what this looks like right now because I haven't looked at it since it was finished, so I'm going to assume that it's probably a little bit bloody. I'll obviously see when I'm editing this tomorrow. Maybe a little bit crustified from the dried blood and plasma. But then again, who knows? It might not be that bad. With that said, I never know what the back of my head looks like. I thought we had more to do back there than we did. According to Terry, it's mostly good. If we want to do like one final touch-up later, that would be okay. But he figures that we don't really need to do too much more red back there. Red velvet anyway. The touch-up on the back of my neck was really hard for Terry to begin with. It was like trying to figure out the best approach where it was all there still. The Alex Rose tattoo was all there and clear, but it was a little bit hard to figure out where to start. In that there's a lot of detail in that piece, and figuring out the mindset of another artist kind of thing is never easy. He did change the eye a little bit. When Alex did it, it was a little bit more imaginative or monstrous in a way, I think. Whereas now it looks a little bit more human, or a little bit less imaginary or something. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. You'll know what I mean. It's a little more realistic. It's been a long day at the shop. Sometimes we don't finish until late. Being the shop manager here, I am here till all the artists are finished, and sometimes that's later than others. So for example, today I got in at 8:30, and I'm leaving after I make this. It'll be around 7 o'clock. So sometimes we do 10-12 hour days, you know, it just depends. Other days we're out of here by 4. So today, it's been a long one. With that said, it's a pretty mellow job here. Some people have asked me for a shop walkthrough or like a day in the life of Remy. Honestly, some days are very busy and other days are very slow. It's really does vary by what's going on, and my role here is very reactionary. It's a much more chiller role than I used to have in my old job. I was the manager of the kitchen that I used to work at as well, and I did that from 2013 to 2022. I managed that place, and I worked in kitchens for around 20 years. I was always in control, no matter what place I was at or what job I was doing. I was always the manager, so that hasn't changed coming here. But my role in managing this place is much different than it was managing that place, in that to some degree in a kitchen you have to be the guy with the biggest axe. You know, you have to be the best, you have to be the strongest, you have to know where the weakness is and work around it. Where here my role is much more reactionary, and it feels a little bit more like herding cats or babysitting sometimes. When you're dealing with tattoo artists, it's more like you have egos all around you and everybody needs to be catered to in a different way. Whereas when I ran the kitchen, everyone's egos were smashed on a daily basis, and everyone understood their place a lot better. Now, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, it's just a fact of the matter. I do enjoy this job overall. It gives me a lot more time to focus on my creative social media and stuff like that, whereas I used to cram that into my free time. Now I don't have to do that on my free time. I do all of my social stuff during my work hours, other than making these videos. I'm still trying to figure out a better way to do them where I can incorporate them into my working hours as well, and then I don't have to worry about staying late or coming in early or coming in on my days off to do these. But short of having like a soundproofed room, I'm not sure exactly what I would do for that, because there are times when, say it's just me and one artist finishing up, I could go off into the staff room and maybe make these videos, but it's just they have the music on or whatever, or what if the customer needs something or any of those kinds of things. What if the phone rings, yada yada. So for now, this is always done after the fact. I would like to figure it out in a way that I could, just go home when I'm done and not have to worry about making social media content, because obviously I also have a son and a wife waiting for me at home, and sometimes when you're coming home very late, the last thing you want to do is make a tattoo video. That being said, I don't want to get off pace with this, and I don't want to miss uploads and all that, so it's all just par for the course I'm on. And I do like to do a video every time I get a tattoo, just because it makes it easier for me to keep track of where I'm at. Now that I've had all that off my mind, I keep meaning to do these kinds of topics, mention these kinds of things more frequently, get into kind of the behind the scenes stuff, but a lot of times I get carried away talking about other topics, and I don't script these, and I'm not planning to. This is a stream of consciousness, as always. I have a few ideas I want to go in with, and then whatever happens, happens. With that said, the session I had with Terry was sort of painful in places today, but not that bad overall. Very easy, I would say. And there's just a little bit that we did behind my ear here. We're getting to the end of my head tattoo project. I have one more session I want to do. In that session, I plan on doing a little bit more red in the front. I don't need to do any more red on the sides up here or in the back up here. I also plan on doing a second pass on the bright red in the thorns, and doing a thicker outline, some of which will cover the red that we've done, just to bolden up the way that these thorns stand out. They're standing out a lot better after the second pass of white. over the opaque that we did, but they can still be bolder, same as we did on the roses and the thorns. You come back in and cover some of the red and white, again with black, and because you're going over white and red, you get a bolder black, and obviously it's going to be a thicker outline, so everything stands out a little bit better with a thicker outline. So just using contrast and kind of some little tricks to make things stand apart even better. You can only do that at the very end. That's a layering effect. So for example, if we did that bold black at the beginning, the bolder outline, it wouldn't stand as well as it will if we put it over the red that we've already put over the black. So again, process of layering, and the more you do, the more you can make things stand out. So that's not going to be for about a month that we do that. What I'm doing next week is I'm going to be tattooing the moon again. I've gone over this on the channel before, but I've been interested in a fourth pass, what that looks like. I have a little surprise with the moon that I might try. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but I have an idea for the moon, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to go through with that yet or not. I need to think about it a little bit more before next week, but I think I can make the moon stand out quite a bit more, and I feel like it already stands out pretty well. If I decide to do that, I think it'll be something that I employ in other tattoos as well. Something I've been thinking about doing on my torso when I get back to it. So if this works out the way that I want it to, if I do it, it will dramatically increase the clarity of the moon, and it's already very clear. So regardless of whether I do that or not, the moon will get worked on again next week. That's probably only going to be a 20-minute session. I previously had said that I was going to be slowing down with Terry to just one every couple weeks. Well, I lied about that. But I am slowing down in the sense that I'm just polishing things up right now. So just kind of taking a bit of a pace break with him, where we're just kind of refining the things that we've already got going on before I start a new can of fish or can of worms or whatever you want to say. That will be coming up soon. I have a big project planned with Terry, but first I want to get everything that we have going on polished up and secured and all taken care of. I've had a lot of plates spinning. I've got my eggs in all kinds of baskets, and I'd like to get some of those sheared up before I move on to another big project. With that in mind, I have another session coming up here in a few days with Rick, and we'll be back onto the arm, and all Rick and I will be working on for the foreseeable future now that we have the head straightened out and we did that touch up on the chest, or highlight on the chest rather. All we've got on the docket is continuing the arm, so it should just be a bunch of weeks of progress on the arm. We're going to come up and continue this color that we did up through here next week, and we'll probably just keep working on the color and doing the bits of black that we haven't from there. I think it's going to be just kind of line them up, knock them down now at the sleeve, and I'm really looking forward to kind of detailing that out more. It's good to have, like, other things to work on, but it would be nice to just focus straight on the sleeve now with Rick. I've got other little projects happening with Terry. This will be session 16 on the sleeve already, I believe, and I would say we're not even halfway through it, and that's exactly what I expected. As I mentioned in the beginning, I figured this would be anywhere from 50 to 70 sessions on the sleeve. I then cut that down to expecting between 30 and 50. I still think 50 is the common denominator there for a reason. I don't think we're going to get there any sooner than that, and it may be even longer. And that would scare the hell out of some people, but I'm here for it. And I'm still enjoying it, and not only that, but we're learning as we go still. So all of this is valuable for more than just the cool tattoo that you're going to get at the end of it. It will be, all that we're doing still will be employed in future projects. Same as the thick line came from this sleeve and then helped this sleeve out, and then went on to help this head tattoo out. In the future here, everything that we're learning on one project impacts the other. Same as we came and we did the thicker outline on the tentacles, and then they stood apart more. It's all benefiting the greater good, and I think that a lot of the methods that we're employing and figuring out here will help other people as well, and that's why I document every session. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys again soon. I'm going to go get something to eat. You guys have a great day.